Looking forward to our next guest as always. One of our own here from the state of Louisiana, out of Hammond, Louisiana, was a superstar athlete down there growing up. Then she moved on to Louisiana Tech, where she was a national champ and starting point guard for the Texters, and now maybe the best college basketball coach on any sideline when you talk about men's and women's, because she was the fastest to get to win number 600. She did it in 700 games. You talk about some whole numbers here. In 20 years at Baylor, Coach Kim Mulkey is now 600 and 100 with 3 national championships. Her Bears are the defending national champs right now, and is kind enough to join us here. And for those of you in our listening audience that may not know this, she's also Kramer Robertson's mom, which is breaking news right here on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Coach Mulkey, congratulations. Thank you for your time this morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing
Always
great.
great to talk with you, Coach.
Coach, you've had a ton of accomplishments in your career. When you accomplish something like you did earlier this week, what do you reflect on? What are those moments like for you?
Well, I celebrate it with the kids because it's about those young people that I've been able to coach for 20 years at Baylor, and really after that, I start thinking about who we play Saturday, and you'll reflect on things like this when you retire and you're sitting in your rocking chair with your grandbabies. But in the moment, you really smile, you answer questions, you love on your players, but you get ready for the next game.
You've been doing this for 20 years. Your consistency is unmatched when you just look at year in, year out. What's the difficulty of building a program and sustaining it like you have in Waco?
Y'all better give this advice to Big O. Ed Orgeron. Everybody expects it every year. He's going to have to feed that monster every year, and it's absolutely wonderful to win it. I was pulling for those Tigers, and I let it be known publicly. Of course, with Kramer having played at LSU and me being from Hammond, I'll always be a Louisiana girl, but you kind of put a smirk on your face because you realize once you do it, everybody expects it.
Yeah.
And, guys, it's difficult to win one.
Yeah,
I mean, it just is difficult. But, my God, is it extremely difficult to continue, maintain, sustain it. And I've been blessed to be able to do that here at Baylor for 20 years, but I can tell you it's not easy.
Yeah, it's insane, Coach. Like Jordy said, 600 and 100. Y'all have now won 54 straight Big 12 games. Speaking of maintaining success, I can't really wrap my head around that. And so my question to you is, because we got a lot of listeners out there, maybe they play basketball, maybe they don't, but do you have any techniques, wisdom, learnings that you think kind of apply to all walks of life when it comes to achieving that consistent success?
I played at Louisiana Tech for Leon Barmore and Sonja Hogue, and Barmore was the X's and O's guy. I played for Pat Summitt in the '84 Olympics. Those guys paid attention to detail. As a young athlete and ball player, you kind of didn't really understand why some of the things they paid attention to were all that important at the time. And then when you get into coaching, you realize, well, I now understand. And you surround yourself. That's the big key. If you can surround yourself with loyal and good assistant coaches who will stay with you for the long haul, you can keep doing it. But what happens nowadays, guys, you know this, coaches come and go. They live in and out of suitcases. I've been blessed to live 2 places in my college career.
Wow.
19 years in Ruston, 18 years in Hammond, 19 years in Ruston, Louisiana, and then my 20th year here in Waco. So I haven't had to move a lot, thank God, didn't have to uproot my family. And I was always at places that valued women's basketball. Now, I can't say that everywhere, but I'm pretty smart and made sure I picked places that were going to value the product.
We're talking to Baylor coach Kim Mulkey here on Off the Bench. She just reached her 600th win, faster than anybody has ever done it. And, Coach, you told ESPN that the tank's not on E yet. Do you think long term? Like, do you think about how long you want to keep this thing going, or are you just in the moment?
In the moment, but I was never going to be a coach. I got pretty much persuaded and talked into doing it by the former president at Louisiana Tech, F.J. Taylor. and Leon Barmore. When he took over, I said, no, I'm working on my master's in business administration, my undergraduate's in business. I'm going to fly on these corporate jets and be a CEO and do all those things. And I got talked into this in 1985, and here I am 35 years later still coaching. They knew more about what I needed to do than I did. And I think your health is the first thing that either keeps you in the business or makes you retire, and I'm very healthy. Number two, you want to maintain a level of success. You don't want to ever drop off from where you are. And I said when I got into this business, I wasn't going to be a lifer. Some coaches, guys are still coaching in their 70s, and I just look at them and think, do you continue to do this because it keeps you alive, or do you continue to do it because you don't have a life outside of basketball? And I've always said I wasn't a lifer. Do I have a time frame of when I'm going to say, that's it, last day, let everybody know, and let's have a celebration that year? Absolutely not. I think when I do it, it's going to be a shock to everybody, and I'll do it on my terms and go out in a blaze of glory.
Coach Mulkey, you mentioned at the beginning the hardest thing to do after you win or have the success that you have, like O has, is to maintain. So how have you been able to maintain? Like, is it just doing the things that got you there, or what kind of evolution has to take place to be in the repeat conversation?
Well, recruiting is the lifeblood of all college athletics. If you don't have the student athletes that can help you win, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how good a coach you are, you don't win. We're just leaders, and along the way, during the course of a game, you'll make a tweak, make a decision here or there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if those kids don't go out there and execute the game plan, and those kids don't believe in you, you're not going to win. And I think that's what I've been able to do. I have a staff. When I was hired here in 2000, I was able to hire 3 assistants. All 3 of those assistant coaches are still with me now. Certainly, I have more than that. I have 9 assistants now, but those 3 that started with me are still here.
That's crazy.
And that's unheard of. And the reason they're here, I'd love to tell you it's because, I treat them well. They love Coach Kim. I never get mad at them. Oh, she's a joy to work for. Look, it's called loyalty, and I do take good care of them financially. They love me in spite of my emotions and my intensity because they see the good side, the soft side, the behind-the-scenes side, and they see a good heart. That's the first thing. And then they go out and they continue to bring me great players. And we're able now to get in the doors of just about anybody in the country. But when we started this thing 20 years ago, we had to be smart. I wasn't into coming in second place behind the great teams. I wanted players that could come and believed in us and could help us build this thing.
A little behind the scenes look there, the formula, maybe the best coach in the game right there, and Kim Mulkey sharing the airwaves with us this morning. What do you think about your new football coach over there?
Well, I've met him once. Of course, now you got to remember, I keep up with everything in Louisiana, so I'm watching him on the sideline there when he was on the football staff for Coach O. I thought from the sideline, oh, my God, what a contrast in personalities between him and Coach O. Very quiet, soft-spoken, doesn't really, look like he gets too emotional about anything. And then, of course, you never really got to see him do interviews until they went to the Sugar Bowl, and my perception of him was exactly that. He's real mild-mannered, quiet, and then when I met him here, I felt the same way. I felt like I was the one dominating the conversation, and yet at the same time, it's just his personality. Mm-hmm. And then I thought to myself, how does somebody that quiet motivate a football team in a locker room? And then I watched who all he has hired, and I think, okay, you've got some pretty intense coaches coming in here, so he's going to let them do the job for him.
Last time we talked to our boy, had taken Clayton Kershaw deep. How's Kramer? How's Kramer?
Kramer's good. He's here at the house working out every day, getting ready to go to spring training. He's so funny. He walked in last night with his shirt off, and he says, "You know how much I weigh?" I said, No, I don't really care. Mom, I weigh 178. Do you understand that's the biggest I've ever been in my life?
All right,
So
Coach.
he's been working out, eating a lot of steak. He's learned how to cook steak. I guess that's one thing he did learn from minor league ball is that I can cook for myself. And he's excited. You know, he moved up really fast, guys, with the Cardinals. He went AA, AAA last year. His hope is that he has a good spring training and he gets back to one of those two places and one day has an opportunity to step on that major league field.
Hell yeah, we want the same thing. And so in keeping with the baseball questions here, Coach, we got to ask you an eternal conundrum. Do midweek college baseball games matter?
Now, I'm going to give you two answers to that because
okay.
I saw where LSU lost to Nicholls State.
Yep.
Yeah, I keep up with all of it.
Coach, I mean, this is
That's crazy.
She's
I don't
so
know how you
dialed
have
in.
time to do
She's
that,
so
but yeah, I
dialed in.
agree.
All right.
The floor is yours.
Kramer was there. I learned a heck of a lot more about baseball because he had a tendency to put me in my place when I am a coach that believes, God darn it, you're supposed to win every game. And he informed me that during those midweek games, obviously you're not pitching your best pitchers.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as an insult
Sure.
to the young people who pitch during midweek, but they're not ready for the weekend series. However, as he tells me, Mom, when you play teams and they see Baylor across the front of that jersey, you're their national championship game.
That's right.
Yeah.
And every night they're going to throw their best against you because that helps them in recruiting, that helps motivate their team, and that helps the coach evaluate their team more so than the ones that are the so-called big dogs. So he kind of always reminded me of that. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't want to win those midweek games because my comeback was this. Pitching and in that circle really controls the game. But there's 8 others of you on that damn field. Why in the hell can't y'all hit the ball?
Get him,
Coach, let's go. Coach Kim
So
Mulkey.
that's kind of what I tell him, and he goes, "I can't win for losing
That's
with you,
right.
Mom. You always have a comeback."
That's right. You said that's why I got 600 wins, kid.
Yeah.
That's why I'm 600 and 120 years.
Fastest ever
The
to
best.
do it.
And Coach, I love the fact you got there before Gino Auriemma. I know you won't say anything about that, but I love that.
You know, Gino's very respectful of me, and he has a sarcasm about him. I pick on him, guys. Jordy, you're Italian, and I pick on him all the time. I said, "Man, what do you know about the Italian culture?" And he just looks at me. Until I explained to him I'm from Louisiana, and every guy I ever dated in high school, their last name ended in a vowel, and I dated all the Italians. I think from then on, I'm the love of his life outside of his wife.
That's so great. Coach, you're the best. Congratulations on your latest accomplishment, and best of luck to the Bears in defending a national championship.
Hey, guys, have a good one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, man. Thank you, Coach.
We do that
The
all
best.
morning, huh?
Yeah, the
Close it out
best.
next.